All right, you guys. So as everyone's joining, I did want to, many of you guys do know me. I'm Kevin Michael Schmitz. I'm a celebrity fashion advertising photographer, and I've been published in over 200 magazine editorials worldwide, and I shoot major ad campaigns for Burberry, Georgio Armani. I've got campaigns that I've shot for Pepsi, Smirnoff, Miller Lite. I've shot numerous fashion lookbooks for designers, but I also, for me, I am passionate about shooting editorial photography and getting published. So today I want to kind of go in depth about some of the strategies, the strategic ways in which I'm able to get myself published, because that's something that as a photographer, of course, many of us, we want to get out there. We want to essentially grace the cover of Vogue and Vanity Fair and Harper's Bazaar, and many of us want to have that to kind of reach that echelon of success. And I tell you what, once you get published, once you grace the cover of major magazines, it really takes your career to the next level. That's when you start to get the attention of many of the top fashion brands, because those are the ones buying media space in Vogue and Vanity Fair and Harper's Bazaar and such. And to be able to raise yourself to that higher echelon of being able to have the credibility of being a published photographer, especially getting the cover of magazines. Now, I know that many of you guys out there who have attended our workshops before have also been published, which is pretty awesome, or you're going to and about to get published, because we have a numerous amount of our workshops. In fact, literally just about every single workshop we've ever done in the last decade has been published in either a nationally published or internationally published magazine. So I encourage you guys to get involved, take part, and kind of jump on the bandwagon of what many of our photographers are doing to get published, and also winning major photographic awards. And to me, this is a big deal. This is something that, and it doesn't matter if you're a fashion photographer, a lifestyle photographer, wedding or portrait photographer, gracing the covers of magazines, even if it's a local magazine like this one, Vintage New York City Magazine. We had a photographer attend our epic experience in New York, and we have another one coming up here in about 3.5 weeks. And she shot with total, like, over the top production at a castle designed to be identical to King Henry VIII's palace from the 1500s, along with supermodels from Vogue, and was able to shoot content that landed her major projects. In fact, she ended up, and she actually was not only a fashion photographer, but shoots weddings, and was able to book a tremendous amount of more jobs after she attended that. So if you guys are interested in getting published, I want to talk a little bit about who those decision makers are. Like, if you're going to get published, who do you need to actually reach out to? Who are those people? The key person that you need to connect with is the photo editor at a magazine, or if it's a smaller magazine, maybe the editor-in-chief or the fashion editor of a magazine. Those are critically important people. To find these people, the key is going to be reaching out through places like Agency Access, contacting through their Agency Access, which is a listserv. It has a database of all the decision makers worldwide that hire photographers. So Agency Access is one, Yoda List is another, Bikini List is another. Or if you want to, not have to do the whole pay to play thing, you want to go and research them yourself, that's fine. Go into a Barnes & Noble bookstore and peruse the magazines and just take a picture of all the mastheads. You can also, there's some website databases with mastheads as well. But you can see who the photo editor is, who the fashion editor is, who the editor-in-chief is of the magazine. And this is really important, because if you guys want to connect and get published, you've got to be in touch with the correct decision maker. Okay. And generally the photo editor, fashion editor, and editor-in-chief of the magazine are people you want to target. Now, how do we go then from, okay, we identified who those people are. The next step is, all right, well, we need to pitch the correct story to the magazine to get them to publish you, right? Now, I'm here at a castle, right? I'm at my 49-room castle in France. It's a spectacular palace in the French countryside. And for me, okay, I want to publish an amazing editorial story here, at the castle, bringing in supermodels from Milan and Paris. And, and I want to have like a very French and Italian kind of feel. Okay. So if that's the concept, what I want to do is I want to, first of all, identify the magazines that I want to shoot for. And I want to then, once I discover, okay, all right, if I want to shoot for Flaunt magazine, I want to shoot for Number 8, I want to shoot for Vanity Fair, I want to shoot for ELLE magazine, whatever the publication is, I want to identify the magazine, and then I want to look for their media kit. Okay. Now, the media kit is essentially what magazines are they're using as a way for them to send to their advertisers to plan out the advertising for the season. And a media kit is essentially tells you how much per page does it cost to advertise in the magazine. This is for an advertiser, right? For a fashion brand to advertise in the magazine. It also tells you what the theme is for each one of these issues. So if it's the, say it's the fall fashion issue, that's pretty typical, like, September issue for Vogue. If it's the February, like say the love issue, because it corresponds with Valentine's Day. Maybe you're doing like a summer issue where you're going to do a whole series where it's a swim story. So each magazine has its own series of themes, right? And this can be found in the media kit. Now, to get on and find a media kit, oftentimes there are databases, and I love to use it. In fact, I would recommend using our website, photographyworkshopseries.com, because there are some articles specifically about how to essentially obtain media kits. If you go into the articles page, there's all kinds of amazing resources on photographyworkshopseries.com about where to find all this stuff and how to get published. It's very, very valuable. And I do recommend jumping on there and starting to kind of look up some of the details. So for instance, if I go to my website, photographyworkshopseries.com, this gives you kind of a media kit metrics, how much it is per page, the circulation of where the magazine is distributed. So, 1.2 million subscribers. You've got estimated print rate at $173,000 per page. So this gives you an idea of, who the audience is, how much the advertisers are spending. And also, of course, you can also generally download the media kit. I actually really love this website. It's called AdSprouts. Gives you a lot of kind of insight into media kits and such, but also I like to go to the websites themselves and download their media kits off their website. And oftentimes you go for the advertiser section of a website for a magazine and download the media kit. And that way you can know all the ins and outs, the cost per page, the editorial stories. Now, the reason this is important is that we need to discover, okay, what are the themes for the upcoming issues? So for instance, if you want to shoot, right now it's, we're getting into the fall season, right? So what we're going to do is we want to pitch to, maybe the magazines that we're going to shoot for now, it's fall. We're probably going to be shooting for something that's going to be a winter or spring issue. Oftentimes, because it's usually like anywhere from 4 to 6 months out. So if I'm going to be shooting for a winter issue, right? I want to start thinking about, all right, what are the themes? What does each magazine that I want to shoot for? What are the themes that they want to have you photograph, right? Once we get the idea of that, of what the themes are, so say it's a winter issue, then we want to come up with some concepts. Right now, this becomes the fun part. This becomes the whole conceptualizing part that I fall in love with. This is something that I work with photographers personally on all the time to work with them on how do we pitch a concept to a magazine. Right. And the first step is I love to discover not only what your photography is, because that's important, but what is the photography? What type of photography do you want to create? What is a photography that you're absolutely in love with, right? And is it, is there a certain photographer you love, like Annie Leibovitz or Mario Testino, or, who is it that you love? Okay, if you identify that, and we now know, all right, these are the magazines that I'm absolutely in love with, and I want to, and these photographers that I think are absolutely incredible, I want you to do an exercise, all right? I want you guys to start coming up with an inspiration board, an image board of the top 30 images you've ever seen in your life in that certain look, feel, and style. And you can also identify certain photographers. Now, I really love going to Pinterest. Okay. And I know many of you, you're photographers, you all want to use Pinterest. Pinterest is awesome. There's all kinds of great ideas for fashion and for outfits and for storytelling and creative. Pinterest is amazing because it also kind of correlates all the different types of boards and different styles that are similar to the board that you are creating. So if I'm going for lifestyle, I'm going for fashion, I'm going for, for something that's swim, I have all these different stories, as you get to see here. And these are a million stories. This is just off of my Pinterest. And of course, you can follow me on my Pinterest board. But these are some great concepts. And if we want to pitch a story, then, I think that the best way to start it is to put together a Pinterest board of the top 30 images you've ever seen in your life in a certain look, feel, and style. Okay. And I've been doing this for years. So I have all these amazing concepts, right? And all right, so let's pick one out. Okay, here's a fashion editorial inspiration for upscale, right? And you can see a bunch of images on here from castles, chateaus in France, etc. And also with supermodels, shooting them in Versailles and stuff like that. A lot of these locations really similar to the location I'm at now. And this is an amazing location. So I own the location, so I can shoot. Literally, sky's the limit here. I can do whatever I want. So now it comes into what kind of story do I want to tell? What do I want to create? When I'm looking through these images, is the story going to be more haute couture, like really dramatic, really crazy and over the top and conceptual? Or is it going to be a little bit more high fashion in a way that's like current, ready to wear? Which is something that, for instance, they're going to be selling in stores. Or do I want to make it more of a costume story, more of a, over the top, glamorous, King Louis XIV style or King Louis XVI style with Marie Antoinette? Do we want to go down that route? See, there's a different ways in which we can go. So I want to, do this exercise with you guys, and I encourage you to do this. Put together a Pinterest board of all the best images that you're absolutely in love with for something like this. Let's say it's an upscale, high fashion story, right? And I think this is really important. So that way, you have some concepts that you can put together. And now, when I'm doing this, I want to create a story of not only the best fashion, but also not only the outfits, but also we want to make sure that we have some of the imagery as well. Okay, the concepts you want to shoot in the direction of the lighting style, the models you might want to shoot, the story you want to tell. It can be all of that. Okay, so that can be really a great way to go. And I think that for many of you guys, Pinterest boards are just kind of a fun way to, look at great photography and kind of put it all together. And that's great. But I also want you guys to use this as a tool, because that's what it is. Pinterest is a tool, and it's something that I use every day when sorting and planning and strategizing all my photo shoots, right? So if I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick out some of this upscale inspiration, I'm going to be like, all right, well, I really love this Vogue story. Right? Or, oh, maybe I love this with like the dogs on the leash. Or actually, this might be a little bit more appropriate. Some of this stuff with Craig McDean photographed at some castles. And that might be a little bit more in line because it's a castle. So let's go down that direction. Okay, so when you're thinking about this, put together the concepts you want to tell. And then I want you to start thinking about, all right, now there are, say, I have 3 concepts. One of them was haute couture, really kind of over the top. One of them was period piece, like a costume. And one was ready to wear. So I want to put together these 3 different concepts, right? And with these concepts, we can now create a creative brief. Okay. Now, the creative brief is something where I take these images, these amazing images that I absolutely love on fashion, right? And then I'm going to put together a creative brief from it, as a concept that I just fell in love with. And I'm like, all right, well, here's one, a creative brief on shooting at a palace, right? What does that look like? Okay, if I want to shoot at a palace and create and design a creative brief, this is going down that Italian/French palace haute couture. All right, and it's a little bit more, I would say, costumey and haute couture direction, so it's a little bit less ready to wear. But this would be one of the concepts. This is pulled from a lot of Annie Leibovitz style. So a lot of Annie Leibovitz photography and Mario Testino, and it's stuff that I find would align really well with shooting at a castle. And if you guys want to, you know, correlate this directly to what the fashion magazines, when they have their essentially their plan and their media kit as far as their editorial calendar, okay, I want to line it up with that editorial calendar. So if you want to start thinking about what that looks like, what that editorial calendar, how that's going to correlate to your creative brief, I like to plan my creative briefs directly around that, directly around the editorial calendar of the magazine that you want to shoot for. Okay, so start thinking about what it is, and if we can pitch 3 different stories, that's going to be really convenient, because now the magazine is not just deciding whether I want to hire you because of your photography, but they're also thinking about which story is going to correlate. And if I have, say, 3 different stories rather than having one option, I maybe, who knows, maybe they'll hire me on all 3. Maybe they'll hire me on 2, or maybe they'll just say, no, I don't like any of those stories. Pitch me something different, or I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Okay, whatever. That's okay. But I want you to start to think about the more options you give them, the better as far as concepts to tell. I usually like to start with 3. Okay, and if they don't like those, give them another 3. But that way, you're going to be in a much better position, because for me, I've been doing this for years, and I can tell you what, oftentimes I get magazines that say, hey, I love all 3 of your concepts. I want you to go ahead and shoot all 3 of these, but for different editorial stories. So if I'm going to do that, great. Maybe I'll shoot one for the fall fashion issue, one for the winter issue, one for the spring issue. And that way, you have better chances of also getting the cover of each magazine, which, by the way, getting the cover, of course, is going to make a huge difference in your photographic career, because if you have covers of magazines in your book, it's going to go a lot further than just a published editorial story or a portfolio image. All right, so guys, I also want you guys to ask some questions in the Q&A so I can answer them live, because I am here live from France at a 49-room castle. I'd love to answer your questions. And so please take a moment and ask me some questions so that I can answer them live. This is your opportunity. Okay. I'm also going to be launching a poll here about essentially, if you look at these magazines, right, and we talk about the process of discovering who the decision makers are, the process of the inspiration board, now the process of developing your creative brief. I want you to also think about the scale. Okay, the scale of something that is extremely expensive. Magazines don't really have a lot of money, unfortunately. They don't. That's just indicative of magazines. They don't really have the budgets to spend. So oftentimes, people at magazines are overworked, underpaid, and they don't have huge budgets to invest in, $100,000, photographic campaign that's paid for by advertisers, and they hire a photographer to shoot their ad campaign for, Burberry or Dolce & Gabbana or Giorgio Armani or whatever. And those are the kind of shoots that I do. But for a magazine, they don't have any money. Oftentimes, they have 0 budget, but it costs you money to produce the shoot. You've got to hire the wardrobe stylist, the hairstylist, the makeup artist, the models, the locations, the permits. You've got to do catering. You've got to have the lighting equipment, the assistants. You've got to have all the little details, the wardrobe cost, because there's wardrobe pulling fees. There's a tremendous cost involved. Typical fashion stylists, they're usually about $2,500 a day. $2,500 a day. If it's say you're shooting over the course of 3 days. Okay, that's 2 days for pull, usually 2 days to return, and then 3 days to shoot. You're looking at 9 days times $2,500. That's a huge investment. That's just for fashion styling, just to hire them. Plus, you've got to pay for their assistants. That's usually anywhere from $300 to $500 a day per assistant, also for the same amount of days. Plus, you've got to pay for the pull fees. Oftentimes, that can add up immensely. It can be a couple $1,000s on a shoot. So the fashion styling alone, it might cost $15,000 to $20,000 just for the fashion styling section of the photo shoot. It's a big investment, and a lot of magazines are not willing to foot the bill. So it is something that if you want to get published and you want to shoot covers and you want to have, feature editorials, oftentimes you have to finance them yourselves. In fact, I had one of my photographers that I've mentored. He came to me after he had shot 8 covers of Vogue, And although he's a really talented photographer, he had 8 covers of Vogue. He was ready to take it up a notch to another level because his covers were, like 10 years ago, they weren't relevant today, and he wanted to shoot new content for his book. So he got involved with us in one of our elite master classes in LA, and he shot the greatest images he'd ever shot in his lifetime. He was totally excited. But one of the things that he had divulged to me is not only the images he shot at our workshops were actually even a step above what he had shot on the cover of Vogue. He also divulged that the cost of him to do those shoots for Vogue magazine, out of pocket, he would lose $8,000 for every cover he had shot. So 8 times $8,000, he had basically gone in debt to shoot for them. But what, it was worth it because the publicity, to be able to say that you're published in Vogue, to be able to show that off in your body of work on your website, really, really valuable. Okay. So if you are going to invest in yourself, of course, you got to do it right. Do not mess around and just do it half-ass. Okay. Definitely invest in yourself properly. And I think that that's something that most photographers don't want to do. They're just like, nah, I'm just gonna, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep, maybe my client jobs will be good enough to show off and stuff. And maybe they are if you're shooting for Burberry. But if you're not, you don't have Burberry as a client or Calvin Klein or Giorgio Armani, then you know what? It's time to invest in yourself. And I'm going to be launching a poll here because I am curious. How much do you invest in yourself, and how much would you invest in yourself in your photographic portfolio? What is that investment look like? Because if you're not investing in yourself, you're going to be shit out of luck. Because I tell you what, I've invested in myself. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on investing in my photographic portfolio, published editorials, self growth and education of myself, even taking seminars. And I have developed to the point where I'm in a position where now I own a 49-room castle, and I'm shooting campaigns for Burberry, and I'm doing all the stuff that I always dreamed I could do. But it all started with investing in myself. And I encourage you guys to do the same. It is not free. And it's something that, just like any business, I don't care if you're a photographer or a doctor or you own a restaurant or whatever that is, you have to spend and invest in your business. Although a lot of photographers don't do that. They just buy equipment, which doesn't really get you anywhere. The equipment is not going to land you the jobs. In fact, in all my career that I've been doing this, I've never had a single client ask me, oh, hey, Kevin, what kind of camera are you shooting with? They couldn't care less. They just expect that if I have a world-class portfolio, then, I'm going to have a great equipment and I'm going to have everything I need, but they don't care. It doesn't really matter to them what kind of equipment that I use. So for them, the clients, they care about, am I going to deliver something to them that's going to be world-class? Am I going to deliver a quality product that they can depend on? And they know that 100% if they hire me, then I am going to knock it out of the park and shoot the kind of jobs that they want, shoot the kind of photography that they are in love with. Okay. It's really important to realize that. Really, really key. All right. Now, while we're on that subject, let me answer a few of your questions. Austin Radcliffe, you just mentioned nice chateau. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wheaton Mahoney, can you use other photographers' work in your creative brief? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, never on your website, because that's your photographic portfolio. And you never want to do that. You only want to showcase your own work on your website and your brand. But Wheaton, if you want to develop a creative brief, I don't want any of the images to be your own. Because the thing is why would you pitch an idea that you've already done before? What's the point? You want to pitch something new and fresh. Okay, so it's much more, it's much stronger to pitch concepts that you haven't done before by other photographers is totally fine. Absolutely, 100%. And those creative briefs, I love to, and it's sort of the inspiration board. The inspiration board is generally from other photographers, and then I take those images and I take the best of the best and I put them in a creative brief, and then I pitch that. Really, really important. Okay. So Wheaton, great question. Glad you asked that. Okay, so Jane Ritchie, do you have a list of magazines for fashion? I actually do, Jane. I'm actually glad you mentioned that. And if you guys are interested in getting a list of magazines, please message me and send me your email address and just and message me saying and just do this in the if you could do this in the Q&A and just say, basically your email address and yes, I want the magazine list. I do have a list of fashion magazines and it's something that I can provide for you. And Jane, you're a world-class photographer. I have had the privilege of working with you on many occasions and creating mind-blowing content with you, Jane, and also I want to also thank you for, not only is Jane amazing, but she was also able to attend a series of our epic workshops. And Jane is getting, not only did I get her published in the most recent issue of the last issue of number 8 magazine, but also I'm getting her published in the next issue of number 8 magazine, which is really exciting. So, Jane is getting published with multiple images for her for her publicity, and it's pretty fantastic. So we were able to get her published multiple times, which is incredible. And also, Jane, I'm going to get you published in 2 editorials coming up next. Not only on fashion from the Mad Max story that we shot in at the masterclass, but also we're getting you published in a lifestyle editorial. And I know for those of you who joined us on our last webinar, we had the owner of number 8 magazine, BK, as one of our panelists. And this gives you a little bit of an idea of the editorial that was published that also featured our amazing photographers. I believe Jane was also featured in this publication as well. So it's pretty incredible. But we had all these amazing images that we're able to get our photographers that attended published, not only the cover, but also the back cover and 2 40-page editorials. So that was really exciting. And I'm really, actually, Jane, I think it was we got you published from the Las Vegas editorial. Not the airfield, but that was an amazing one as well. So Jane had attended that and created some absolutely epic images from the last workshop at the Las Vegas Desert Workshop. And those are the ones we got published. So, Jane, I would definitely start pitching because, of course, I can get you published because I have friends that own magazines and stuff. But also, I encourage you to submit your images. And so there's, of course, 2 ways to get published. And one is to do what I was talking about at the beginning of this webinar, where it's to pitch magazines directly. And these are especially for the higher tier magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and stuff. Generally, it's a relationship you build with them, and then there's an idea in place that you need to communicate with them, and then be able to get them to accept it and want you to shoot it. But then there's also the other way, which is to shoot an editorial from the beginning and then get that placed and published. Now, in this case, number 8 magazine already wanted to publish my stuff, but I hadn't given them a whole lot of information on what we were shooting. But they were like, absolutely, Kevin, everything you shoot at the workshops is amazing. Go ahead. I want to publish it. So anyway, so we shot some incredible stuff here at the Las Vegas workshop. And we're able to get our photographers published in all these incredible images here. And if you notice, one of the things that is key here is that a lot of these images are double page spreads. A lot of photographers like to shoot things in a portrait vertical way, but I really like double page spreads because to me they're a lot more powerful, they're a lot more expressive, and of course it's just wow. You open up the page, you open up a magazine and you see a full double page spread. The scale of that is just incredible because the size of the image is so much bigger. And I think that to me, it tells a lot more of a story, just like an image like this. It says way more with double page spread horizontally than it would vertically. So if you notice, a lot of the stuff that I publish is a lot of horizontal stuff for fashion and for lifestyle, especially for lifestyle, almost exclusively. In fact, my fashion portfolio is vertical with double page spreads in it. My lifestyle portfolio is horizontal, just to give you an idea, 11 by 14. But anyway, so this editorial was absolutely breathtaking. And we shot this over the course of 5 days out in the desert. And we had supermodels we brought in from Amsterdam, from New York, from LA, and the Las Vegas experience was just out of this world. It was incredible. And I encourage you guys to also get published and to join us at our epic experiences, because we are here to help make sure that you get published, not only shooting the greatest images of your lifetime, but also using my connections and relationships to actually get you published. So really, really exciting. And I'm really proud of all the photographers that got to attend and also get published, because the images are just absolutely breathtaking from these productions. All right. So, but those are some excellent questions, and thank you so much, Jane. I appreciate all of that. Yolanda Puchinsky. Okay, so pitch this to the magazine on our own dollars. So how do we get paid? How do we make money? Great question. You can't make money as an editorial photographer. So sorry to break it to you, Yolanda, but I've never met a photographer that only shoots magazines and makes a living at it. I've never heard of that. In all my years of doing this, I've been in the industry a long time. I've never heard of a photographer that solely can make a lucrative living as an editorial photographer. It isn't possible and never really has been possible. So despite what you might think, it's actually not a financially viable type of career. However, the point of it is not to just make money on a magazine. The point of it is to get publicity, is to build your portfolio, is to get brands to want to book you so that you're shooting the fashion campaigns. That's the whole point of it, right? It's to be able to, grace the covers and, and have these amazing editorials that give you gravitas, so that a client is like, oh my gosh, like I see your work, like this photographer, Lance Andrews, that attended this workshop, he's showcases like, oh my gosh, like the scale, the quality, the level of production here is so over the top that, okay, I want to hire Lance to shoot my editorial, shoot my ad campaign in the magazine that is that I'm spending money on already. Because oftentimes, it's fashion brands that are spending money on ad placement in magazines. So why not have your photography grace the pages of these magazines right next to those $100,000 ad campaigns? So the point of it, Yolanda, is you want to shoot the editorial for the sheer goal of landing the advertising campaigns. Because although magazine budget might be $0 or it might be up to $2,500, I've seen it as high as $10,000, but it's very rare that it's at that level. Whereas an advertising campaign, they range anywhere from $30,000 to $500,000. I've seen them up as $700,000 per shoot. A lot of times when I'm doing jobs, they're in the $100,000 to $200,000 range. That's per photo shoot, anywhere from like 2 days to 4 days. So, so just so you guys know, that's something that that you really want to focus on, the advertising direction, even if you are in editorial photography. All right. So I'd love to take another question. And by the way, guys, if you guys are interested in this, I'm going to also offer you guys an opportunity to set up a one-on-one strategy session with one of our professional photographic consultants, and to make sure that you guys get some strategy about getting published, because my team, they get our photographers published. In fact, I know Jane was just speaking to Priscilla Evans, who is one of our top photographic consultants, and she was talking to Jane about, which images to publish, and we're going to be sending them on to the magazine to get them published. So if you guys are interested in getting published, then we offer a free one-on-one Zoom strategy session with one of our photographic consultants, and you can jump on, and by the way, I'm going to put it in the chat so that everyone can click on it. So go ahead and click on that link in the chat, and make sure you guys set up your dedicated one-on-one strategy session. I know Jane just did one with Priscilla, and it was really useful, and she was able to connect with her and then kind of identify which images that she wants to publish, and which images that, which magazines to go after, and so on and so forth. So all of those things can be talked about and discussed. And that's where our team comes in, because we're not here just to teach a workshop. We're also here because we want to help literally transform your photographic career and your lives. And that's really, really important to me. I'm not here just to teach a workshop and have you guys come. I'm interested in you guys going from shooting a little $200 photo shoot for a portrait client to shooting a $200,000 campaign for an advertising client. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So if you're ready to take your photography to the next level, get published, make more money, land more clients, whatever that is, let us know, because we're here to help you. And it's totally free to do a strategy session. We just do it as a service to our photographers. If you want to get involved in a workshop, then I definitely encourage it. But if you're not ready yet, that's okay too. But I encourage you guys, if you are serious about your career, like Jane is, she's enrolled in several of our photographic experiences of our epic workshops over the last 2 years, and it has completely transformed her photography and the opportunities that she has and she's able to get in photography. And that's really exciting to me, because I want to see people like Jane succeed. Really, really, really important to me. Otherwise, like, what's the point? So if you guys are ready for that, you're ready to take it to the next level, then you've got to take a step. You've got to be able to, take it up a notch. And by the way, if you haven't responded yet to the poll, please respond now. Because we love to hear your thoughts on all of this. All right. So, all right, guys. I want to take the next question here. We've got okay. The anonymous attendee says, what about pursuing advertising jobs? Are they booked by agencies or brands or both? Okay, great. So you know what? Traditionally, most advertising campaigns are you do directly through an advertising agency. Okay. So the advertising agencies that represent the brands, they're the ones that you're dealing with, and you're communicating with the creative director or the art producer, art buyer. Okay, those are the people you're going to be communicating with. Now, if you want to do that, that's a whole different beast, and that's something that I specialize in. Okay, landing advertising campaigns. In fact, we have an epic photographic workshop specifically on branding yourself as a photographer, editorial or advertising. We also have a workshop on marketing yourself to those brands and advertising agencies. And we also have another amazing workshop on closing the deal and basically booking those jobs with the clients, dealing with usage fees, creative fees, being able to put together a budget for an advertising client and actually land the jobs. So if you guys are interested in that, we have a series of these epic virtual workshops specifically on that aspect. If you're interested in booking more clients, closing the deal, incredible workshops. And these ones are very inexpensive. Our main in-person experiences are around $15K, but our virtual workshop experiences, they're only $12.95. And for attending this webinar right now, you get a $300 discount, so it's only $9.95 to attend. And they are amazing. I know Jane's watched a series of these. A lot of you guys on right now have watched these, and they are incredible. They're 6-hour intensives, just like this one, closing the deal and booking more clients. This one's incredible, and I believe that there are 3 pillars to being successful as a photographer. One being photographic branding and developing your portfolio at the highest level. 2 being marketing yourself and your photographic brand. And 3 is closing the deal and booking more clients. And that's why we offer workshops on all 3 of those. So if you guys are interested, let us know. We also have experiences on posing, art direction, and storytelling, as well as retouching as well. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely let us know. And those of you guys who have in the Q&A sent your email in for a list of magazines, that's fantastic. I will definitely send you guys a list of fashion magazines, but I also encourage you to also, and I see a whole bunch of you guys writing in on this, Daniel Quat, Wheaton Mahoney, Mike Wyatt, Lenworth Johnson, all of you guys. Also make sure to include scheduling your one-on-one strategy session so that you can go over how to actually use those lists with one of our professional photographic consultants. So you can take it from, okay, this is great. We've got, I've got all these people that I can contact, all these magazines to contact. Well, now what do I do? Okay. Well, you've got to have a systematic approach, because it's not just something that they're not going to just call you out of the blue and book you. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so really important to realize. Okay, so and also one more thing on that is I also recommend at some point in your career getting a photographic agent being represented by a photographic agent. This is kind of the next level with your photography. But if you are repped by an agent, it definitely takes you to a higher echelon in your photography, and they also have a lot of the relationships with a lot of the advertising clients. So for years, I've been with 4 different agents in my career, including AA reps in New York. I've been with 46 Pictures in LA. I've been with the great George Perez reps out of LA, who represents a lot of the top celebrity and fashion advertising photographers. He was my rep for years. He reps like the big shop photographers like John Russo that shoots the Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, Vanity Fair. He's a really high profile celebrity fashion photographer. So I was repped by this agent, and it gives me a whole ton of gravitas when I'm reaching out to magazines and advertising clients because he already knows them all. Now, getting an agent is a whole different beast. Okay, that's a whole different systematic approach. And if you guys want to learn how to do that, we actually do talk about that in some of our virtual workshops. We go in depth about how to obtain representation and a systematic approach to getting a photographic agent to represent you, because that is something I've been able to do that. And my first agent that was repping me, I believe I was 24 years old, and I was repped by an agent out of New York. And it definitely rose it helped, increase the profile and legitimacy of my brand when I was able to do that. Excellent. So, all right. So, so Daniel, you want a list of fashion magazines? Thanks for messaging in on that. Same with Wheaton, Michael Weilet, who is brilliant photographer and has been published in numerous times. In fact, Mike, I'm really proud of you for landing that big Magazine Editorial #8 magazine. You kicked ass and had the cover, back cover of the magazine. And Mike has taken a whole series of workshops. He's coming to the upcoming ones we have coming up, which I'm really excited about in New York and LA. So Mike, I can't wait to work with you on those. Okay. All right. So another question from Gardenia Hung. Do you employ and or hire photographers for your social media magazine publishing campaigns? Okay. I'm not exactly sure, Gardenia, what you mean by that. If I hire photographers underneath me, I would assume that that's what you're referring to. I definitely don't hire any photographers underneath me to shoot any of my jobs. I shoot everything myself. Everything you see of mine is all done by me, and that's my brand. It's all done by Kevin Michael Schmitz. That's a Kevin Michael Schmitz brand. So I don't hire anybody else. No, I bring on team members on my shoots to assist and help me, but I don't hire anybody to shoot things for me. I shoot all my editorials, all the covers, all the editorials for myself. But what I'm really proud of, Gardenia, is my photographers, because the photographers that have attended our epic workshops, we have taken it to a whole different echelon of not only getting published, but also winning photographic awards. And what I'm really proud of, including Mike Weilet and Jane Ritchie, who are on right now, we have been able to win 107 awards this last year in the One Island Awards, the Color Awards, Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts, International Photography Awards, goes on and on and on and on. And in the One Island Awards, we won out of the top 10 fashion photographers in America this last year. We won 7 out of 10 of the top 10 fashion photographers in America, including Jane Ritchie, who won #4 fashion photographer in the world, and also the great Michael Weilet, who's on right now, who won #7. And if you can see right here on our page, the winning images. And these were all shot at our New York workshop and our LA workshop, as well as our Las Vegas fashion experiences that all were published, which is really, really exciting. So if you guys are interested, and by the way, those of you guys are on, I want to make sure you also apply this year to win awards, because there's a ton of photography awards. Right now, I believe One Island is doing their black and white awards. They are asking for entries. I'd recommend entering in the One Island Awards, Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts, a whole series of them. International Photography Awards. Lurzer's Archive, Communication Arts are probably the most high profile. And then I would say One Island and Color Awards are huge. after that, as well as IPA. So I would definitely apply to win some awards, because it will help you take it to a next level. And it's not only can you get these images published in magazines, but you can also win awards, which raises your profile and your brand as a photographer. Very, very, very valuable. Okay. So, all right. Any other questions I'd love to answer now. So thank you so much for Yolanda. I really appreciate that. Okay, Wheaton asks, do you work with fine art photographers about getting their work published? Absolutely, Wheaton, I do. And not only do I work with fine art photographers, I am a fine art photographer. I've been shooting fine art my whole career. In fact, I did my bachelor's and my master's of fine arts in photography, and I was able to not only get my images in about 20 gallery exhibitions, but also I've had my images in huge printed images in museums. And this is definitely something that we can specialize in. And a lot of my photographers who take our workshops also exhibit their images in fine art galleries. So definitely start thinking about that. And that's something that I can help you with. I have a lot of experience with that. And it's actually how I was able to get myself through college. Was I became a photographer, and I started shooting epic landscape images and selling them to galleries and private collectors. And also you can also publish editorials of like landscape photography, fine art photography, travel photography. This is an image that I actually just made a giant 40 by 60 inch print of. Actually, I was really excited about, and it's one that I shot in Bora Bora. And it's an amazing landscape image that I just fell in love with. And I do a lot of stuff with the drone. In fact, I'm going to be shooting a tremendous amount of stuff over the next few days here at the castle. I've been preparing it as far as all the landscaping and all of the, the details of the vines that are in a, like basically kind of spindling around the tower, almost like a candy cane, making sure that the fairy tale look is absolutely perfect. All the details of the castle to make it sure it's perfect. And we're going to be shooting with drones. We're going to be filming television, and we're going to be photographing over the next few days here. So I've been prepping it relentlessly for that and making sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. But we do a ton of stuff, not only in fashion, but also in fine art. And that's really, really important. So definitely that's something we can help with. And let me know, Wheaton, what type of fine art do you do? Is it highly conceptual? Is it landscape? Is it, fine art nudes? What kind of fine art? I'd love for you to message back and say a little bit more about that. And Wheaton, yes, I do have a list of photographic award competitions that I can send you. And again, if you guys want that as well, you can shoot us an email. We'll send you the list. You can send you a list of magazines as well as photographic competitions, because there are a ton. Some of them are higher profile than others, but I think that it is very, very helpful. And Evan Siegel absolutely will send you a list of fashion magazines, and we'd be happy to do that. And also, Evan, we are getting ready for publications, and I encourage you to send over your images from the lifestyle stories you've shot with me to get published, because we're going to be publishing a lifestyle editorial in as well as some fashion editorials in number 8 magazine next. And I want to get you published as well, because you've worked at several of those workshops with us, shooting some of the most mind-blowing images imaginable. And also, Evan, congratulations also, because you had won a major photographic award in the One Island Awards too, because you are a superstar photographer. So thank you so much. All right. So Paul Trapito also asks, will this be taped to review? I had to miss the first part. Absolutely, Paul. These are all recorded, and we have all of these available in our we have these all available in our YouTube channel, and I can send you guys a link to the YouTube channel so you have access to that. But I definitely encourage you guys watch these. I have a list. I think we have about 54 live webinars that have been recorded that we have on our YouTube channel. So the amount of value that we have on there is incredible. We have topics of everything from retouching to fashion to lifestyle photography to getting published to to, you know, how to make more money as a photographer, how to brand yourself. I mean, there's a million different topics, and here is the list. So I just click that link. Please go ahead and click on that and subscribe, because you will have access to all this incredible content. These webinars are all generally about an hour and a half long to 2 hours, and they are really, really in depth, because we like to disclose everything. I don't like to just touch on things here and there. I like to actually give as much value as I possibly can to my photographers, because it's in my best interest that you guys become successful, because then I can rave about you. I can talk about how successful you guys are. I can showcase you guys to all the rest of our audience, so that, you know, other people get excited and other people get inspired. So I love that. Absolutely love that. All right. So thank you so much, Paul. All right. And Crystal Bear, love a list of magazines and competitions. Absolutely, Crystal. And yes, please submit your images for publication with me, as well as in some photographic awards. I do recommend it. And I want, you know, we won 107 awards this year, and I want to win more. I want us to win. I want us to beat that this year, of winning even more awards. And the reason we're winning, guys, is because the scale and quality of the photographic productions, because the images we shoot, it's not just about the photography. And I think so many photographers miss this. They don't realize that it's not really about how good you are as a photographer. It's about the scale of the production. It's about the models, how incredible the models are, how incredible all aspects of the styling, the hair, the makeup, the wardrobe, all the details, shooting at an airfield with 1940s fighter jets and supermodels. I mean, it's out of this world. So if you can create content at this level, just like this photographer did, John Wooten, he won top 7 fashion photographer in America this last year. And it was his very first workshop he attended. That could be you. It's really, really important to realize that. All right. So Wheaton Mahoney, also, thank you so much for that message back here. You're a series-based fine artwork, architectural studies, portraiture, still life-based around personality of color. I work with an agent, but I want to learn more. Fantastic. Excellent. Go ahead and message back to Wheaton and tell us who your agent is. And I'd love to see a website as well. But that's fantastic. I personally have worked in a lot of that. And I've also done a lot of architectural work too, believe it or not. I've done all aspects of photography, from travel to resort to lifestyle to swim to architectural to fine art to landscape. I've done all types of photography, portraiture. I've done it all. And it's just that my personal preference is large scale advertising campaigns, whether they're lifestyle or whether they're fashion. That is my preference, and that's my jam. And I use getting published in magazines as a vehicle to be able to do everything else, to be able to land the campaigns, land the commercials, all that stuff too. One more thing too, guys, I want to recommend that you also get involved with video, because video is absolutely key and critical to your success. And if you are not, if you don't have an epic video reel that is wowing and dazzling your audience, then you've got to start now. Okay, it's so important. You've got to have that video. The video is so key. And I tell you what, if you want a photographic agent, for instance, you've got to have that video, because photographic agents, they all require it now. You can't just be a photographer this day and age. Even as an editorial photographer, you need to be able to shoot video. You've got to have that as a component, just like this one. So, you know, we got to shoot with models from Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, ELLE, Vanity Fair, and we're able to shoot this mind-blowing story in Vegas, which is incredible. And it's actually what just the editorial just got published number 8, which you got to see. And then this is the one from the prior year that won all these awards, the experience of, and we won all these incredible awards. But this video is a component to the editorial. And this video is something that gives you an opportunity to land the advertising campaigns and to land commercials, because that's really, really, really important. If you want to actually be really successful in this career, this is key, having video content. And at every one of the Epic workshops, we do mind-blowing high-level video production that we actually provide that video after the fact if you guys want all the video, or you can also have a final edited video that we can provide and give to you as well, that you can use for all of your marketing and advertising, which is so key, so important to use. And so, guys, I'm so excited. And I know that many of you that are attending and already signed up for upcoming workshops, I'm super excited because we have some mind-blowing experiences on the horizon coming up. And I can't wait to work with you personally on those. And if you haven't enrolled yet in the New York Fashion Photography Workshop, this is the very last opportunity. Okay, this is the last week to enroll, and I encourage you guys to join in and grab the last spots, because it is something that is a world-class experience, is beyond anything else, because we're shooting on location in New York. We have mind-blowing locations. We go out to Long Island, out to the Hamptons. We also shooting in the city and shooting just epic content. And we're following New York Fashion Week. So we have all these top models and supermodels from New York Fashion Week. So that's one of the reasons that it's so epic and why we schedule it specifically at this time, because we want to make sure that we get the best of the best, the creme de la creme models. And that way you get to walk away with the greatest content imaginable. So if you guys haven't enrolled yet in New York, make sure to grab those last spots. I believe Masterclass is either sold out or might have one spot left. But now is the time. These are the last two workshops of the year. And I definitely encourage you guys to join. This is our New York experience. We shot this last year. We won, I believe, three of the top 7 of the top 10 fashion photographers of the year. 3 of them were from the New York workshop, which is really exciting. So we got to see our photographers winning all these amazing awards, rising to the top, and being more and more successful because of attending this experience, because it's so epic, because it's so over the top. So New York is mind-blowing, and it's one that I'm really passionate about, because New York's the heart of fashion. I mean, outside of Paris and Milan, New York is really the heart of fashion, especially fashion advertising. The fashion advertising world is huge here in New York. This is where all the brands go to spend their dollars and to shoot. So if you can build that New York look, it really takes you to the next level. And we shoot both in studio and on location, as you can see. Excellent. Okay. So Daniel Quad also messages in as a question. Fabulous presentation today. Got me really thinking about where I'm going and what excites me the most in photography for my business. Thanks so much. Well, that's fantastic, Daniel. And I'd encourage you to actually add to that. And why don't you tell me, what is it that excites you? What draws you in? Is it photography that you're looking at on the screen right now? These images, these were all shot by attendees of our workshop at our New York Fashion Workshop experience. If that blows your mind, Daniel, I definitely encourage you to get involved and shoot at a scale that's at the highest level of your potential. Okay. And that just starts getting involved with us, because we have photographic workshop experiences that are beyond anything imaginable, that you can actually take it to the next level and be the most successful version of yourself. Really, really important. And it all starts with that production. It starts with that scale and level of production that's so elite. And the challenge is that many of us don't have access to supermodels. If you don't live in LA and New York and you don't have access to the supermodels, or maybe even if you do live in those areas, but you don't have access to the top modeling agencies, to the top wardrobe stylists in the world, to the top hair and makeup artists, to the best locations, if you don't have castles to shoot at, get involved with us, because I have access to all of that. And really, that's really what the Photography Workshop series is built on. It's really built on my relationships and my connections. I've been in this industry a long time. I've been able to build an empire photographically, and I have access to the best production teams around the world. I have them in every major city. We do workshops in LA, Newport Beach, Las Vegas, Chicago. We've got one in the Washington, D.C., Virginia area, Miami Beach, New York, and of course, we have our epic experience here at the French Castle, where you get to shoot with supermodels from Milan and Paris. So I've got these productions all over the world, and I've got production teams in every major city in America as well as in Europe. I have access to the best of the best, and I can work with you guys and essentially save you a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money by getting involved with us and being able to build that body of work like that. Be able to shoot it, a world-class photographic body of work that would take you years to accomplish on your own, and to be able to do it within a 5-day experience of what we have coming up. So for instance, the New York experience, September 20th through 24th, shooting on location and in studio, creating images that will get you published, will win you awards, and will take you to the next level. This is something that is truly exceptional, and it's something that's really spectacular and dear to my heart. It's something I'm really passionate about, and I want to get you guys published, and I want to help you win awards, land those campaigns, and become that world-class $1 million photographer. I'm here to help you every step of the way, and my whole team is my photographic consultants. Okay, and also I'm just going to go back to the Q&As here, and a follow-up to that. So Daniel likes to photograph dance, equine, environmental portraiture, nudes that help people hear their body imagery, and okay, excellent, Daniel. And you're in Santa Fe, which is a heart of a lot of great fine art photography in the Santa Fe workshops and stuff. That's fantastic. Sounds great. Well, Daniel, I would also encourage you to, if you want to get into to all those categories, I would strongly encourage you to get involved in our lifestyle experiences, our lifestyle workshops, because we have lifestyle workshops that incorporate equine, they incorporate environmental portraiture, they incorporate even dance. They have all of it in the lifestyle experiences. I know Crystal Bear and Jane Ritchie and Evan Siegel and these photographers that are on right now have attended the lifestyle experiences and had epic experiences. And you can also, that is part of editorial photography, is getting published and is shooting lifestyle as well. This is an example of some of the lifestyle work that not only is fantastic, but also highly, highly, highly lucrative. If you want to make money in photography at the highest level, shooting content like this and creating world-class lifestyle imagery and video will make you more money. It's fun. It's healthy people having fun, enjoying life, enjoying themselves, experiencing life, creating moments, allowing them to unfold, and then capturing them. And this is what a lot of clients are looking for these days. And we have some epic experiences in Newport Beach on lifestyle. A section of the masterclass is on lifestyle. We also have lifestyle in Chicago, in addition to fashion, as well as the equestrian lifestyle workshop in DC, as well as Miami Beach. So we have some amazing, amazing opportunities there as well. And if you guys haven't answered the poll yet, please do. And also feel free to ask more questions. I really, really appreciate all these amazing questions, because this is amazing on here. You guys are really engaged, and I really appreciate that. So when you are a photographer and you go through this process of pitching to, discovering who those decision makers are, developing an inspiration board, then putting together the creative brief, then pitching that creative brief to the photo editors, I would then take it to the next level of following up with them, because oftentimes they're so busy, they're so slammed, and I want to make sure that you don't get forgotten about. So oftentimes, you might call them once or send an email once. That doesn't do it, you guys. You have to be relentless. You have to be following up with them constantly. You have to be calling them, emailing them, messaging them on social media. I mean, I would contact them once a week. And if you can't do once a week, then once every 2 weeks. If I want to work with somebody, I am in front of them all the time. And trust me, they're inundated every day by people, reaching out to them, showcasing the kind of, the work that they do and all this and that. But you know what? A lot of times it's not just about it's not just about the quality of your work. It's also about the relevance of your work to that magazine. And most importantly, are you in the right place at the right time? Right place, right time. And if you are relentlessly reaching out to them and marketing to them, you're going to be far more likely to be in the right place at the right time. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're the photographer that I want to work with. Because you hit them up, they just happen to do this. Okay, we're shooting for the winter issue. We've got this amazing, here's an editorial calendar. Your work is perfect for it. And you just happen to reach them at the right time. You even have a concept, a story, because that means they don't have to come up with something. It's already there. It's already done. And then you can then pitch them the ideas. They can say yay or nay. You do it, and now you can get published and get hired. But it all starts with being at the right place at the right time. And the only way to do that is to market to them consistently. Okay. And those of you guys, even my photographers that have attended a bunch of workshops and stuff, a lot of them are also not marketing consistently. And that's something that I constantly want to work with you on. And your photographic coach, your photographic mentor, you can set up that one-on-one Zoom strategy session with. That is the person that can help mentor, guide you, and make sure that you are relentlessly reaching out to these magazines to get published, because I want you to get published. I want you to be out there winning awards, getting published, becoming a world-class photographer, shooting ad campaigns, and we're here to help you every step of the way. But it does take some work. It takes some effort. People aren't going to call you out of the blue. People don't call me out of the blue. You know, it takes myself and my production team. We are reaching out to clients like Burberry, for instance. They don't call me out of the blue. I'm marketing. We've been working with them for literally years, building the relationship by sending them work and following up with them. And then all of a sudden the project comes in and they're like, Kevin, I need to book you. Literally, I want you shooting in 3 days. And you've got to shoot this project in 3 days and deliver it on the 4th day. That's it. Done. Here's this massive budget, right? And either yay or nay. And I do it or I don't do it, kind of thing. And it happens like that. It could be you reach out to them for 3 years and all of a sudden the job comes in and you've got to shoot it right now. You know, in fact, I actually just had one coming up when we were shooting in Miami Beach. We shot at the Miami Beach workshop. Actually, it coincided with the Miami Beach workshop, and it was, but they hadn't confirmed anything. They hadn't put the money in my bank account yet. So, until it's confirmed, until it's solid in stone, to me, it didn't mean anything yet. So it's like, okay, no problem. I went ahead. We went ahead with that epic production in Miami Beach. It was incredible. We shot some of the greatest content imaginable in Miami. It was world class. I know some of you guys were there in person, and it was incredible. But I had the project with Burberry, and I actually ended up shooting it remotely. I had a team that was an unusual circumstance, but I had one of my teams on location in LA shoot the production for me, and I'm basically directing it while in the middle of directing this. So I'm here on location. This was shot. I know some of you guys had attended this that are on right now. We were live with me on location in Miami, and I was literally in the middle of the shoot. I was directing another shoot in LA for that was $45,000 a day, and in LA for Burberry. So I'm able to do multiple things at once, but it's because I have teams on the ground everywhere. But I was directing it remotely, and then I had my team on the ground doing it. But that is unusual. But I can make that happen because I've got teams all over the place, and it's something I can help you with. But this is an example of some of the swim editorial that we shot and video out in the Miami Beach workshop, which was absolutely incredible and breathtaking. So if you guys are interested in this kind of content as well, we do this in Miami in April, and it is an unbelievable production. And we also get these published as well. All right, guys. So if you haven't answered the poll, I'm also very interested. If you guys do love what you're seeing here and you want to be a part of this and you want to get published and you want to shoot the greatest images of your lifetime, then you know what? Let's get you involved. And I want to know, like, how likely are you to enroll in one of these epic experiences? 10 being, hey, Kevin, I'm ready to go. I want to get involved with you. I want you to help me achieve success at the highest level. Or, no, I'm not interested at all. And that's okay too, but I would encourage you guys to take it up to the highest echelon. And I'm here to help you personally. I'm here to mentor you, guide you, coach you every step of the way. So please enter that in the poll section and let us know what your thoughts are. So guys, if you're interested in getting published, there's a creative process to it that I went through step by step, but there's also a marketing process. And I would also encourage you to have the systematic approach of not only, emailing that decision maker, but also I would develop a list of magazines and the contacts from those magazines, market to them. Now that's the list of the contacts of the current photo editor and fashion editor would be located in like agency access. You need to subscribe to Yoda List or Bikini List or one of those listservs, and you basically buy access to be able to have access to them and then market to them. I've been doing that for years, but you would want to market specifically to those, for instance, fashion magazines or swim magazines or whatever, and then you would market your story to them. And I would send out a new image at least like once a week, and an email to them, to that audience, showcasing your latest work. And, and then I would personally email the lead decision makers at your top 20 to 40 magazines every single week. And I would email them creative briefs and concepts. And then I would call them and follow up. And guys, one of the things that I notice that most of you guys don't do is make phone calls. And I know that many of you, you just want to photograph, you just want to be a photographer, and that's great. And I do too. I love being a photographer. But I can tell you, I can guarantee you that if you are at the highest level of the photographic industry, if you want to achieve that, you're going to spend a very small amount of time photographing. Most of your time is doing marketing, doing bids on campaigns, basically it's the sales and marketing process. And that's something I can help you with because I have a lot of experience with it. But I can tell you what, in my experience, it's about 85% of the time I'm spending doing marketing and sales for my photography. About 10% of my time, I'm producing the shoots, and about 5% of my time, I'm doing photo shoots or commercials or television. So it's in that, and if it's not that way, if you find yourself like where it's like, oh, I've spent half my time doing photography and half my time doing marketing, you're way out of balance. Or you spend 80% of your time doing photography, that means you're not making enough in your photography, guaranteed. Because if you're shooting 4 days a week or 5 days a week, that means you're probably not making $100,000 a day or $40,000 a day. You're probably making a lot less. So we need to readjust that business model to start targeting the audience that's high end, it's going to make you money, but also I want to make sure that you're spending enough time marketing and reaching out to decision makers. Generally, it takes, I'm going to spend multiple days a week personally emailing, LinkedIn messaging, Facebook messaging, Instagram messaging, email broadcasts, and then text messaging, and then most importantly than anything, phone calling and following up. And I would spend at least 2 days a week, bare minimum, 8 hours a day, 2 days a week, bare minimum making phone calls. If you're not doing that, you're not really interested in being successful. But if you are interested, I would recommend at least 8 hours a day, 2 days a week. And that's a very modest way to start. But I would start with that and then probably spend another 2 days a week just emailing and marketing yourself. And that's if you want to be successful and take it to the next level. If you don't, I understand. You just want to be a hobbyist or you just want to do it for fun or stay at a lower level. Okay. But if you actually are interested in rising up to the top, we can help guide you and help get you there. But you definitely have to listen to some of our guidance and strategies, and we can teach you every aspect of this. So it's really, really great to hear your guys' perspectives as well as your Q&As. And by the way, Wheaton, you made a comment that you're interested in coaching for marketing to galleries and designers. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, Wheaton, I would strongly recommend you get involved and right now go ahead and enroll in the Marketing for Photographers workshop. It's $12.95. You can actually get a $300 discount for attending this webinar. And we talk about that specifically. We talk about marketing to galleries and private collectors, as well as landing commission jobs. But it's the same concepts apply whether you're going after fine art or whether you're going after fashion clients, advertising clients, editorial. We teach you that systematic approach, Wheaton. So definitely go ahead and schedule a Zoom session, and then also I encourage you to sign up for that virtual workshop because it will completely transform your life. And it'll give you everything you need to know to be successful in your aspect in your industry. All right, guys. And thank you so much for those of you guys who did respond to the poll questions. I'm going to go ahead and share your results and showcase. It looks like most of you guys are very interested in attending. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. And if you guys are, we definitely would love to get you involved. Every year, the investment in the workshops does go up just because of inflation, the cost of production, and also because these workshops are sold out over and over again. So if you guys want to get involved in any workshop now, we've got the New York experience coming up, the masterclass coming up. And if you enroll now in any of the 2023 workshops, you get a huge discount. You're going to save about $1,500 per workshop off enrolling now at 2022 enrollment. So it's a massive opportunity, and that's why a lot of photographers enroll far in advance to make sure that they get to lock in the best pricing imaginable. So definitely, I recommend that. And guys, I think that getting involved in these experiences, these workshops, if you want to be a published photographer, it's the best opportunity, because every single photographic workshop we've ever done in the last decade has been published in a magazine, period. So if you want to be published, you want to win awards, the ultimate way to do that is to get involved in one of our experiences, because the chances of you getting published are are strong. And every single one of these workshops gets published, and it's because I have relationships with all these magazines, and the scale of production and quality is at the highest echelon imaginable. And by the way, Mike Weilet, who's on right now, he shot this for number 8 magazine, which is a cover of last issue of number 8, which is fantastic. And it's looking like we'll likely get the cover of the next issue of number 8 magazine. So if those of you who have attended any of my fashion or lifestyle workshops, specifically the last masterclass with the Mad Max story, as well as lifestyle workshops with me, please send in your images and schedule and coordinate a Zoom session with one of our photographic consultants so they can help you select which images to publish. And that way we can get you featured, and I can get you published in number 8 magazine if it correlates to the story. So, all right, guys, I really love this. You've had an amazing audience today, some of the most interactive I think we've ever had. So I really appreciate that, because I love talking with you guys and hearing your perspectives. And guys, if you are interested in getting involved and taking it to the next level, it really does take some persistence. It takes some strategy. And it takes some guidance and mentorship. And we're here to help you with every aspect of that. So I encourage you guys to join up, get involved in one of these epic workshops, these epic photographic experiences, because they will transform your life. And also, if you want to come out to my 49-room castle in France, that's an experience that you'll never forget. And it'll be an experience of a lifetime. It's a 6-day experience. We have Michelin star chefs. We have a masseuse on premise, actually in the Southeast Tower. We're shooting with supermodels from Milan and Paris, and we're creating mind-blowing experiences that it's on another level. It's on another planet as far as quality, production, scale. And because it's at my castle, we can shoot and do whatever we want, which is amazing, because locations are often constricted of what you can do and shoot there. But since I'm the owner, I can do whatever I want. And we have full reign on this 12 acres of beautiful French countryside. It's built over a 2,000-year-old Roman palace. And there's even a 4,000-year-old Celtic stone, almost like an Outlander kind of stone in the corner. And the castle itself is absolutely breathtaking. So if you guys want to get involved in this, we have a section September 3rd through 8th, 2023, and we invite you guys to join us, especially if those of you who have enrolled in a bunch of our workshops and you haven't done this one yet. This one will be worth it, and you'll save money enrolling now as opposed to waiting until next year. And this one, it's $17K as an individual to attend, or $23 if you bring as a couple. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much for all the great questions. And Mike Weilet, thanks for sending over the Dropbox, the retouch images of Mad Max, so we can get you published, Mike, once again. Who knows? Maybe you'll even land the cover. That'd be awesome once again. But Mike, you're always just such a superstar photographer, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity and honor to work with you. But thanks so much, guys, for joining me. And I can't wait to work with each and every one of you and help get each and every one of you published and raised to the highest level of your potential.